want to bring you on the podcast because you are part of KromAmericas and talk about KromAmericas in your experience. And your experience is a little unique because you are not, to my knowledge, brought up and started in combustion. You've only recently gotten into it, so I kind of want to hear a little bit about that and essentially how you found and ended up at KromAmericas, and correct me if I'm wrong, not knowing anything about combustion.
That is a fair assessment. Right. Yeah. So before KromAmericas, I started KromAmericas in 2020. I'll give you a little bit of history of how we got there. But before that, I was in software. So I ran a software implementation team for a few different startup companies in Indianapolis. I thought that was my career path, got my PMP, project management professional certification. Just loved it. Loved everything about the software world, running a team. But the organization just kept getting bigger and bigger. I was employee 17, went through a couple acquisitions, and 1,500 employees later, I realized, okay, what's next? So I started looking, not aggressively, just seeing what was out there. I've got a men's group that meets on Tuesday mornings from our church. We meet at 6:00, just drink coffee, harass each other, and just do that sort of thing and talk. And my pastor said, hey, because I told him I was going to have an interview that afternoon for a company. He said, hey, why don't you reach out to this guy named Ken Bradway, who owns Loy Instrument, who ultimately founded KromAmericas. Reach out to him. He's looking at somebody to start this company called KromAmericas. He's looking for somebody that can run it. I said, okay. And I know the guy. He's my Sunday school teacher. So called him on the way home. I was like, hey, I heard you're starting a company. He's like, yeah. He's like, you know who the best person would be that would run this company? I'm like, what? Who? He's like, you would. But you're probably not looking, and I don't want to pull you away. So I'm like, actually, let's talk. So a couple months later, I started as kind of employee number one as the business manager at KromAmericas. Yeah, so what you said earlier, no combustion experience, no knowledge in the combustion world. But it's been really cool just to see this whole world out there that I didn't know about, or I'd never been to a foundry. I don't even know what a foundry was. Boilers, well, I don't know what boilers do. All that stuff. It's very eye-opening, so it's been a really fun ride.
Yeah. I think real quickly to all the people out there who live and breathe combustion, he expressed it right then and there. He had no idea what combustion was or like the whole industry behind it. We are a hidden industry, and if you think you're advertising, no, you're not. You're not doing it enough. Until your kids' sports teams know what you do, and all the kids know exactly what you do, you're not advertising enough. So, KromAmericas, employee number one.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give a brief background on what the relationship of KromAmericas versus Schroeder and Honeywell is?
Yep, you bet. So Honeywell acquired Schroeder back in 2015 through an acquisition through Elster or with Elster. Schroeder goes back to the 1860s, like 1865 is when they were founded. So old company that started with gas meters. So they were building gas meters. That's how they entered the market, and eventually started building burners, safety shutoff valves, pressure switches, all that stuff. So it's a well-established company that Honeywell acquired. Honeywell, though, didn't do a whole lot with it. Trying to sell a German product in the United States without any idea how to manage inventory or inability, Honeywell being the size they are, they're not a stocking company. So everything that their sales guys were selling, it was 6, 8, 12 weeks to get it from Germany over to the United States. So Honeywell realized if we're going to make this product line successful, we need somebody in the United States that's willing to put some stuff on the shelves to make this company work. So they reached out to Ken Bradway, who owns Loy Instrument, a local combustion distributor service company within central Indiana, Indianapolis, on the east side of Indianapolis. Said, hey, we want to start this other company. Would you be interested in taking it on, becoming a master distributor for Schroeder? He said, sure. So we bought a bunch of inventory, and that's it. Best time to start a business is right in the middle of COVID, when the world shuts down. So we were placing orders. They were sitting up in customs in Chicago for 2, 3, 4 months, just trying to build up our inventory levels. It did take some time, but that's how KromAmericas got started. Is we believe in this product line. Honeywell believed in it. They needed to be able to get the product over here and find a company that was willing to put it on the shelves. And so that's what we've done.
Yeah, that's super important. I get asked a lot, what's the best this? What's the best that? And I'm like, well, the best product is the one that you can, one, get, and then two, get support for. And if you have to order a $200 part and it has to ship from Germany every single time, it can get really frustrating on the lead times. So bringing it over, and then so essentially you're stockpiling or forecasting what your part usage is going to be over a couple months, and then you order crates of parts and stock them in Indianapolis, Indiana.
That's exactly right. So early on, we were placing orders with the factory in Germany every other day. Anything that was non-stock, most everything at that time was non-stock. We just hadn't built up our inventory. But it got to the point where that was not manageable. We had hundreds of open POs, and they were very hard to track on our end and on Honeywell's end, and ultimately with the factory in Lotte, Germany. So we condensed that down a couple of years ago. So we place one stocking order every month. And that order that we're placing is for what we're going to need 6 months from now. So we've got enough data. We know what the market wants. We're seeing trends. So we're always making sure that our top runners, there's at least 6 months on the shelf that we can fulfill orders. And then once a week, we place an order for anything that's non-stock. So those oddball parts, those RP threads from trains that come in from Europe, and then your replacement parts, or a specific flame rod that goes with a burner. Those are the types of orders we're placing once a week. So we've condensed from 20 to 30 POs a month down to 5, one a week for non-stock items, and then that monthly forecasting order that's placed every month.
So what is your strategy or general strategy around, or thought process? How do you stand up a company and service the customers of it's not like you're establishing a brand. You're establishing an American brand, but the product is already there and you're not designing the product. How do you go about educating the American, and I also believe you do Mexico and Canada? Is that, yeah, how do you go about educating your customers that your relationship with Schroeder and what KromAmericas is, and like grow a distribution network from that?
Yeah, so one thing Honeywell is really good at is distribution networks. So the Honeywell Thermal Solutions side has what we call channel partners. And there's approximately 25 channel partners across North America. And those are the Loy Instruments of that region. So those are the main folks or companies that we're going after. We want to get into their hands, and then they can send it to end users. They can work with the OEMs, spec out the projects. So because there was such a strong existing network, we didn't have to immediately build out our externals or an outward-facing sales team. They were pretty much our sales team. We had to convince them, and it's taken some work that, hey, if you sell this part, we're going to be able to get it to you, and we're going to train you on it and make you comfortable with it. But most of the distributors were already aware of Schroeder because Honeywell had it. They just couldn't provide it since 2015. So the learning curve hasn't been that huge of bringing a brand new product to market. We're just trying to reintroduce a product that's always been here, but now it's supported. So that's how we've approached distribution. A lot of the OEMs already had components from furnaces or equipment that was brought in from Europe that had KromAmericas. So we're able to get our foot in the door with resell, replacement. And also one of our strengths, because I'm not strong on combustion, is we had to figure out how to be able to support. I didn't want to just we're not just a warehouse distribution company. We're also trying to get the information out there of product literature, technical how-to, creating support videos. So I've hired on a tech team that can support that. So if a customer calls in and they need help speccing out the size of a valve, we've got somebody on staff that can do that. I didn't want to just, again, be a reseller, just a box mover, right? I wanted to be a little bit more than that. And I think we've been able to accomplish that for the most part.
Yeah, you do have a KromAmericas YouTube channel. If
we do, yeah.
If the people want to check that out, they put out some great videos, and they're very, very simple videos, which I like because I think a lot of companies overcomplicate the video aspect and, hey, we got to make something like cool and interesting, but just talking about the product and what you guys do is enough, and that is interesting and educational, which is very important in 2026 for people who want to learn about a product to be able to see a video that is not like this giant scripted ad for a company. And it's like, well, that looks cool. It sounds cool, but that didn't really teach me about the product. But having, I think you have two main people that talk on the videos.
I do, yeah. So you were right. They are, at least early on, they were not scripted. They were genuine. How about that? Like these are the guys that take the calls every day and, hey, what are you hearing? And they're like, oh, this is an issue we've seen. All right, let's create a 5-minute video, a quick in and out video that somebody can jump in. They're a little bit more scripted now and a little more targeted because we've just matured as an organization to do that. But yeah, Kevin and Logan are the two guys that are running with that information.
Yeah, that's I did meet them. I did have the opportunity, amazing opportunity, and I know I'm wearing a hoodie, but I'm wearing my.
Look at that! I see it. I see the dashes.
KromAmericas shirt, but have the amazing opportunity to visit your office and to see the stockpiles on the shelf, which is amazing because in the combustion industry and the industries that combustion supports, a lot of times it's not a cost factor. It's hey, we need this now. And saying, oh, we'll have that in 3 or 4 weeks is not a good answer. And they're just going to find somebody else.
Yeah, we love having people stop by, OEMs, customers, because when they see it's one thing to say, hey, we have inventory. It's another to walk out this door here and see shelves and rows upon rows of 6-8 months worth of supply. It really makes people realize, okay, this is really cool. These guys are doing some awesome stuff. I can trust that I'll be able to get a replacement part if I need it.
Yeah, you got, I mean, you're living the whole brand. You got the artwork on the wall. You have the gas train, example gas train on the wall, and which I think is super cool. I think a lot of companies need to advertise more, but it's, it's just a gas valve. Well, you sell a gas valve. I think gas valves are cool. Why not make engineering drawings and hang them on the wall? It's cool. And that's something you said, you guys do, which is also, you support the products, but you also build gas trains and test those gas trains. And then be able to have, drawings, 3D drawings or 2D drawings of the gas trains. Can you talk about that process? Say, hey, I want to order a gas train. How would I go about doing that?
Yeah. So let me take a step back and talk about one of our complications that we had to fix early on that'll lead to the gas trains. KromAmericas has 34,000 part numbers. So when we decide to be the master distributor, there's no way anybody can stock 34,000 parts and be successful at it. So we had a little bit of analytical data that Honeywell was able to provide. We had a great growth leader at Honeywell that had his finger on the pulse and said, this is what you need to put on the shelf. But an example would be if you need a shutoff valve that has half-inch flanges coming in and a half-inch flange going out, that's a part number. That's a unique 8-digit part number. We'll say you wanted to have that same valve body, but you needed an inch coming in and an inch going out. That was a totally separate part number. So you can see, or flame safety, I need a 3-second purge time, or I need a 5-second purge time. Those are two different part numbers. So what we did is we took all this information, the little bit of data we had, the input we were getting from some of our close distributors that we talked with, and said, the strength of the Krom Schroeder product is its modularity. So let's exploit that. I've got 900 part numbers out in the warehouse, and that fulfills 85% of our orders because we are taking the valve and ordering that from the factory. We're ordering boxes upon boxes of flanges and seal kits and pressure switches and pressure taps, and then building them on demand. So when a customer calls in and says, I need this, like, okay, I can build that using a kit. So now we've got stuff on the shelf. Instead of them ordering that specific part number and the factory in Germany assembling it, just give us the raw components, we'll pop it together. So that leads to our gas trains. So we put flanges on, we put pressure switches on the front of our gas trains, and we need a way to test those. We know the components are good. They come in tested. German engineering, it's finest. They know if that component is good or bad before it goes out. But we need to make sure when we put components together, it's airtight. So we built a testing bench that you were able to see. We popped the valve train up there. We've got quick release chucks on it with an air compressor, brings it up to pressure, 5 pounds, holds it. And are we seeing a drop in pressure or not? If we do, let's figure out where it's at. If we don't, green checkbox, it takes a screenshot. The tech team fills out a piece of paper, said, yep, this was configured the way it was ordered. I'm putting my signature on it because I stand behind it. This is going to make it there and it's going to hold pressure. So that was how we initially started with kits. And then we started hearing from customers, hey, build out the whole gas train segment. Throw a regulator on it, throw a Y strainer, throw a drip leg. It's like, okay, yeah, we can do that. So that's what you were able to see is building out these complex gas trains. We got an order for an OEM for 11 gas trains last week. So guys are painting the pipe, assembling it, and hopefully by the end of this week, we start shipping those orders that are fully tested. So it's, again, more than just moving boxes. It's solving problems. It's building out those complex assemblies.
You made that testing process sound very simple. To the listeners, they have this like custom PLC with screens.
Yep.
And they, as he said, they hook up the air and pressurize it, and then there's like a decay test so that you shut off the air, and then it'll track if there's any leaks. I believe you can create a report from that.
Absolutely. So at any time, I can pop up, we use Google Drive here, pop up Google Drive, type in the order number, and it'll show me a screenshot of that test, what time it was taken, if there was any loss of pressure, who the tech was, who the customer is. Yeah, you're right. It's pretty sophisticated. We try to present it as simple, like this is just part of our process, the pride we're standing behind our work. But yeah, took several months of testing it out, pulling in the right people to make sure that it was going to do what we wanted to do. So ultimately, we decided to build it in-house, utilizing the Loy side of the company, the engineers over there that work on this sort of thing, and build out a PLC and made it work.
Yeah, it's a lot of upfront work, but it's it then allows you to do a very good job at creating a trackable, quality controlled process and document that can be done very quickly instead of, oh, hook up an air chuck and then write down on this form that's been copied and faxed 3,000 times your initials and, some data and, who did what, and then stuff doesn't get filled out. You always want a repeatable process, especially when you're doing something over and over again. And that, when I saw that, that was very cool. I always love innovation like that and something that's semi-custom. It's not like that you made anything amazing, but it solves a problem that can easily, a customer gets a gas train and then it leaks day one and they're like, oh, now they have a negative view of the product where you can go, hey, no, every gas train, here's the cert, ships, no leaks, and this is how we do it. And it just builds, it gives me confidence behind that assembly. So then the design around it, are you creating or designing in-house and assembling the 2D and 3D models in-house?
We sure are. So we have an engineer on staff that the technicians, Kevin and Logan, utilize. So they are the information gatherers, gathering the requirements. What is your incoming pressure? What pressure do you need at the burner? What types of pressure switches do you need? We gather all that, utilizing a form that we've put together. Again, so it can be a repeatable process, right? Fill that out, turn that over to our engineer, and he's able to pop those out depending on workload in a couple days. So that customer, before they send us a PO, they have a PDF in their hand that is a visual representation of what the gas train is going to look like, down to measurements. They send us a PO, and before we begin building, they have to sign off on that drawing. So it removes that us shipping something and we didn't fully spec it out, and the customer gets it and, oh crap, what am I supposed to do with this? So taking the time up front to understand what they need, giving them that representation, and then after we ship it, we'll give them the step file as well so they can put that into their CAD drawing system and play around with that. Yep.
Yeah, they can add the step file and then add it to their design essentially to say, hey, this is exactly what it's going to be. And then when the product shows up, it's exactly what the file is, and there's no surprises or, oh, we just changed this measurement because, as you said, an OEM orders 10, 20 gas trains. They need to know what exactly is showing up because they're also building 10 to 20 units on top of that. And this is just one tiny assembly in that unit for whatever they're using it for.
Yep. So, and it's an expensive mistake to ship it incorrectly because we didn't ask the right questions or the customer thought we knew something. And then what do? You eat the cost of freight to ship this skid back, make the change, and ship it out on your dollar. So by getting them to sign off and just having that mutual agreement, this is what we agree upon, it just eliminates that.
What, going to like the products that Schroeder is like, what would Schroeder specialize in? Is it gas trains and burners? Is that what all the products revolve around?
It is. So the main strength or the workhorse is the safety shutoff valves. And then it builds upon it there. But I would say that is our main, what you see most in the market is our safety shutoff valves and the pressure switches.
Do the safety shutoff valves, and I've always wondered this when a large company like Honeywell acquires other brands, do Schroeder safety shutoff valves compete with Honeywell safety shutoff valves?
I think Honeywell has a lot of products that compete against each other in their portfolio. But our valves go up to 7 pounds. That's what they're rated up to. So we don't compete with Maxon valves. If you've got high pressure coming in or something like that, you're going to use a Maxon valve every single day. So as far as in that specific range, that lower 7 below pressure, no, Honeywell doesn't really have anything else in its portfolio that I can think of that competes with that.
The fluid valves, what are they?
Fluid power actuators,
Yeah.
V50s, 55s, 55s. Yeah. Yes, those are a good option for Schroeder to come in and replace. And then you don't have to worry about the fluid actuators. We've been able to convert some customers to it.
I would also say that those fluid powered valves are giant compared to the Schroeder valves. And if you have a tight gas train or a tight environment, you can get a very, very compact gas train because for the listeners, you'll have to go to KromAmericas and they've got pictures of their gas trains, but it's like the valves bolt together. Oh, they also, on their YouTube channel, they also have them bolting the valves together, but they bolt together with, I think, O-rings, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, they're bolts that go through the front and back of the valve, and just kind of self-tighten, or pull that flange in tight. Yeah, because it's I guess say it's tapered a little bit. Yeah, but you're right. I mean, the footprint of these things is very small, and that's one of the reactions we get when we set up a booth at a trade show is, hey, this is a NFPA valve train that's less than 12 inches, right? Less than that if you're not counting the ball valves. Yeah, very compact, right?
And the pressure switches can get mounted right to the valve bodies as well, right?
That's right. So there's an automatic reset pressure switch that's pretty small, and it mounts right to the front of that gas valve. Yep.
Yeah, that's just provides end users with a lot of options as far as modularity. So
Yep.
who are your customers? What industries are we installing? You're more on the like industrial burner side and not really boilers per se, but what are your customers making or doing with these gas trains?
Yeah. So being a master distributor, we don't always know where our products end up if we're selling to distributors. So distributors are going to put some stuff on the shelf and sell to their customers. But as far as like OEMs, it's a lot of heat treat stuff. I've been able to go on site and visit with a couple OEMs, visit some of these factories where these things are going. So belt furnaces, I'm trying to think of a couple of other
Paint
applications I've
booths,
seen recently.
powder coating,
Yeah,
automotive.
I would say yes, definitely automotive. We are working on a couple potential projects with some paint booths as well. That's why I hesitated there because I haven't seen the deal come in yet. Yeah, but I mean, basically any industrial where you have to apply some sort of heat, you're going to see some sort of Crom component, or one of our competitors, right? Dungs is out there as well.
Yeah, I'm just trying to
same
give
sort of application.
the listeners who don't know just an idea of what industrial gas trains are used for and what a foundry would do with a gas train and what automotive manufacturers do. Because like automotive manufacturer, why would they need a gas train? Well, if you ever go into an automotive plant, the amount of manufacturing that happens, and they have heat areas, and in order to provide heat, you need burners, and when you have burner, you need a gas train, and that's
yeah. We've seen some applications where it's not a Schroeder burner, but it's a Schroeder gas train and Schroeder flame safety that's hundreds of feet long, right? There's so many burners, and it's a roller type furnace, right? And it's taking a product and just slowly rolling it through and heating it up. And we see our gas trains on that all the time, heating up these big hills or heating up these long furnaces. It's a great application, right?
Are there, I don't know a ton about it, but are there gas trains or a lot of gas train use in steel making?
There sure is. Yep.
All
Yep.
right.
A lot of it.
And the burners, what can you describe the style of burner that a couple styles that Crom Schroeder has?
Yeah. So we have, burners have been harder to stock because every burner's just custom, right? The length, how deep's the wall, all that stuff. So we've gotten a pretty good shipping track record of getting burners fairly quickly over from Germany, but we don't throw them on the shelves just because they're not repeat. But we do have a couple different product lines. One of them is the EcoMax LE. It's a recoup burner. So you drop those emissions down. That's a big thing going on over in Europe right now, is how do you get those emissions lower? And the EcoMax burner is just a great example of that, being able to drop those emissions by recuperating that hot air.
Is that a mesh burner? Do you have a mesh burner?
We do not have a mesh burner. No.
Okay. I didn't know if they used mesh burners at all.
Mm-mm.
Probably too delicate or for industrial. That I don't think. Yeah, I've never seen one. The most, I mean, every time, as you probably are well aware, every time I went into an industrial plant, it was like Eclipse everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Eclipse burners.
Yep, that's right.
I'm like, is there another burner manufacturer other than Eclipse? It seems like everything's Eclipse and 50 years old.
Yep.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Did Eclipse go out of business or?
Eclipse was acquired by Honeywell, so they're part of the Honeywell portfolio now.
Okay, but they still make Eclipse burners?
I'm going to get in trouble by the Honeywell guys. Listen to this. Because I'm not sure the solid answer on that. I'm not sure. That is my weakness in just being in this industry for 5.5, 6 years. I don't know all that side.
All right, but
we regularly see and run into Eclipse burners. Absolutely.
I believe, if I'm correct, that Eclipse butterfly gas valves were no longer made and you couldn't get them anymore. But correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Eclipse burner, right? Thermjets?
I don't know the names of them.
Yeah. They still sell those, and I'm pretty sure that's an Eclipse burner.
So when you go out to these plants, being 5 years in the industry, which is very, very new in terms of industry, do you get a general understanding of what is happening, or what is your first reaction when you walk into these facilities? Is it just like you're just shocked at the massive scale of operations, and how does anybody make sense of this?
It is overwhelming when you walk into these places. Like, my gosh, has this always been here? Have they always been doing this sort of thing? Yeah, it is. It's a lot to take in. But luckily, I've had a great mentor and some great guys at Honeywell that I've worked with that walk me through it. So I don't know that I can plead that I'm ignorant. Now I'm 5 years in. If I don't know it by now, I need to get out of this thing. So I can walk into a place and I can follow the gas train. I understand what it's doing, how it's calling for gas, how it's calling for air, what a regulator is, how a regulator works. So I get that. It's easy to get overwhelmed when you walk into one of those places like a foundry, but if I can just see that part of it, I can kind of piece together, okay, I understand how this works and why this works. But having great mentors walking alongside me, letting me ask stupid questions along the way, has been huge, to be able to pick up this knowledge and not necessarily talk about it in front of customers, but understand when they're explaining an issue or they're explaining a process. Okay, I'm following. I get this now.
Yeah, there's a big difference between having deep knowledge that you've lived it versus you understand the framework. And understanding the framework is really all you need to be at, because you're not the one that's speccing the gas trains, but you're the one just doing the business side. But you have to have some general understanding of what your business is actually doing. Otherwise, you get the corporates in the high tower that just demand orders and have no idea what the back shipping docks are doing, and
Mm-hmm.
that never works out well.
Yeah, and I've always been the person. I want to know how it works. I want to know the different functions of our job. Back in my software world, I pride myself that I knew this software platform forwards and backwards. I was the guy that somebody in the office would go to and ask. So when I walk into this whole new world, it has been a challenge to have to step back and be like, I have no idea. But it's driven me to learn as much as I can, watch YouTube videos, or get out in the field, read documentation, find those people that have been doing this for 30, 40 years. Like, pour your knowledge into me. I want to learn this. I'm never going to be an expert. Like you said, I'm never going to be the one speccing gas trains, but I want to understand why we have to and understand where it's going, how they're using it. Because you're right. At the end of the day, it helps me be a better business manager, a better leader for the organization, and help direct based on trends or based on what we're seeing.
If a customer or a end user has Schroeder components that they want replaced or they want somebody to look at, does KromAmericas, can you recommend somebody to do, I believe it's called a gap analysis of like, hey, this has been installed 30 years. What does it take? What does this look like versus current codes and safety? Is that something you guys can recommend? Do you do yourself?
So that's not something we handle ourselves, but it is something where we would utilize that Honeywell channel partner network, those listed distributors, and say, hey, I've got a distributor right down the road from you or in your state. I'm going to pass this lead over to them, let them work with you, and then they get the benefit of somebody in their backyard that can help them out. Be there on call if they need it, be able to run out and do service visits, maybe do calibrations, whatever it may be. But yeah, will we get to that point? I don't know. Just because we do have such a strong network of folks out there that I just love working with. And as long as we keep that channel partner network, that's absolutely the best for our customers, to be able to refer those types of questions back to them and let them run with that.
But they can, if they don't know who to call, they can start with you.
Yeah, call us. If they purchased from us before, they got an account. If not, we'll ask them a few different questions and then get them redirected back to their local distributor. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, that's knowing who to call and contact is a lot of the battle, especially when you get into these industrial places and you have to wipe off the components and you're like, what is this? Everything's this brownish gray. And you're like, oh, like, look, there's yellow paint under all this stuff.
Yeah, we get those pictures quite a bit into our support inboxes. Hey, this isn't working. I don't know what it is. Can you help me out? And it's a fun puzzle to try to figure out.
Can you talk about the actuators, as far as if somebody has, I guess what do the actuators are, and also you have a drop-in replacement, I believe, for the Honeywell Module 4 motor as
We
well.
do have a drop-in replacement for the mod motor. I'll start there. So that is our IC50. So our IC50 actuator, we've actually got a video out on YouTube about that, of just a drop-in replacement with a 7616BR crate arm assembly. It's wall-mounted. The great thing about our IC50 actuators is the shaft is square and round. So it's round, and then they have a little square shaft on top, so it can take a couple different attachments. But that's a great high torque actuator. Goes up to 30 Newton meters, and I can't think of what the conversion is for that. Let me admitted 265 pounds inches. So it's no Herculine actuator, but it is a pretty good workhouse. That is a drop-in replacement. And then we've got two smaller actuators, an IC40 and an IC50. And those go two different roots. They both go up to about 26 inches pound. The IC20 is shafts and dip switches. So the maintenance guy can go out and make a couple changes and pop that actuator in. The IC40 is more of the OEM product, or more the tech nerds, because you can actually program it with a cable. You connect a cable to it, a little opto adapter, it plugs into the front of it, pull up the software, configure the curve, how do you want it to function, all those intricacies. And those have been great. The market's really, really liked those.
And how are those actuators mounted? I assume KromAmericas makes butterfly valves as well?
Yeah. So we've got,
or Schroeder.
Yeah, right.
KromAmericas is the distributor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So we have butterfly valves. We also have what is called a VFC. It's a linear control valve. So it has that same body style as our safety shutoff valves. You can pop different flanges on it, bolt it on. But what makes it unique and better than a butterfly valve, because after you open a butterfly valve up, like 20, 30%, I mean, it's open, right? You really can't control it. But the VFC has a cone inside of it that has a V cut, so you can slowly open that up. If you need more turn down, you can actually take the cylinder and raise it up a little bit by a little Allen screw at the bottom, so you can really fine tune that high and low fire. It is much more responsive and controllable than any sort of butterfly valve out there. And either of those bolt right onto our actuator with 2 screws.
Everything is designed for simplicity.
Absolutely.
Sounds like.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. Also, another thing I love, and I don't know who did it, maybe this was your direction, but a lot of old-fashioned distributors, and just, hey, if you need us, call us. But you have all your parts online with pictures, specs, pricing, add to cart that I can look at. And I think that's huge, because a lot of people want to do things instead of just on their own, instead of call this number to see if we have this.
Yeah, that was one of our key initiatives when I started. I had my project management hat on, because I've really treated this whole thing as different projects, right? And been able to utilize my past experiences. So during requirements gathering of what do we need to be successful? And we kept hearing over and over again, you need a website that's got pictures. When I order a valve, I want to know what's in the box. Do the screws come with it? If I order a pressure switch, does the cable grommet come with it? So I often joke that I have more pictures of safety shutoff valves than I have my kids on my phone. My memories pop up on iPhone as 2 years ago, you took a picture of these 5 valves. So yeah, having a website built out that has pictures, has technical information, has product literature there, we are trying, like you said, to simplify. All that documentation is out there on other websites from Honeywell, but if you're looking at an actuator, I don't want you to have to go to 5 different websites to see the tech literature. I want it right here on our website. So that has been instrumental in being able to just get product awareness out.
Yeah, that's having everything in one place and easy to find is way different than it's somewhere out there on the internet. Yes, it's somewhere out there on the internet, but Honeywell is a giant billions of dollars global company, and it's not always the easiest for an end user who is not an expert to say, all right, where is the exact literature that I need to find for this product? And now that you have KromAmericas in a very easy to use website to find the product, search it, have all the information, have the pictures, because nobody looks at products based on part numbers, and then they go, yeah, that looks like what I have, and then they can order from there. Uh, and you talked about the thousands of part numbers. Is Krom Schroeder, do they obsolete part numbers regularly? Or is it a pretty consistent, like the pressure, if I were to order a pressure switch today, is it going to have the same part number as a pressure switch 10 years ago?
Yes, it will. Honeywell moves slow with everything, right? So they're never going to go in for no reason change part numbers. So yeah, those part numbers that were existing on pressure switches or safety shutoff valves 10, 12 years ago, that customer can call up. And we have a tool. If for some reason they bought a configuration, we would be able to see, okay, this is now obsolete, but here's the replacement. Because technology changes, right? Things improve. But those 8-digit part numbers, those are there to stay. Yeah, those aren't altering at all.
Well, that's good for continuity because
Mm-hmm.
most end users buy a product and then don't look at it for 10 years.
Yeah, right.
And
Right.
then, oh, it's not working. And then being able to search the part number and have it the same is huge. Can you go into the flame safeguards? They're a little bit different looking, but I guess I'm looking at it now, how many different, how does somebody choose a flame safeguard for is it just based on the application, how many
Yeah.
accessories they need?
Yeah, a little bit. So we've got really, I'm trying to think, 3 main product lines for flame safety. We have the BCU 3 series, which comes in a little box. It's self-contained. Those are for areas where you don't need NEMA 4. You just want it in a plastic box. Great application for single burners. If you need a nice heavy case and you're going to mount this to the side of a burner, it's going to be high heat, but you need NEMA 4 and you be able to do spray down. That's where we move into our BCU 4 series. And those have different control modules that you can pop into it. It's got replaceable transformers as well. So if a transformer goes bad, you can just unscrew the transformer that's in there, order a replacement online or call us up and order it, and be able to pop that right back in. So those are heavy duty. And we've got the BCU 460, 465, and 480. Again, that's based on the application. Do you need a dedicated pilot? Do you have multi-burner? There's a few different questions we would ask to help identify which ones of those would be the best fit. And then the last one is the BCU 5 series. And that is about the size of a Honeywell Blue Box, the RM7800, if you're familiar with those. It's actually, we're working on some campaigns, some marketing collateral. It's actually a little bit better than the 7800. You don't need different amplifier cards. It's all built in. It's very simplified, and that's DIN mounted. So if that's going in a cabinet or you have an opportunity to put in a cabinet, you're going to go with the 5 series all day. And similar to the 4 series, there's a few different variants. You know, what type of application do you have? Do you need a dedicated pilot, multi-burner? All of our flame safety utilizes UV scanners or flame rod. It doesn't matter. The system is smart enough to realize what you wired up to as well. So that makes it a little unique, where you don't need one of those amplifier cards like you do on a Blue Box.
Yeah, talk about number of part numbers. The Honeywell Blue Boxes, when I was doing service, I would always have, because you have customers that think a blue box is a blue box. I'm like, well, I don't even know how many they make, but there's like 50 to 100 kinds of these plus.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just because they look the same doesn't mean they're the same. You got to flip them over on the back, read the part number, read the inputs and the outputs. And yeah, that's probably the most famous. If somebody knows the flame safeguard, it's the Honeywell Blue Box.
Yep. Yeah. In our flame safety, it can get overwhelming too when you look at all the options. So I just pulled up a website that I could see all the part numbers. For a BCU 465, there are 1,522 part numbers. And I can guarantee that 1,520 of those are software configurations. So I have 2 BCU 465s that I stock. If you need a different communication module, I got those sitting on the shelf. I'm going to pop that out, pop mine in. Need a different transformer. You want a 33% cycle, duty cycle instead of 100%. I got those transformers. I'm going to build it for you. And then all those software configurations, we'll program it for you. You're probably going to have to hook up to it anyway, so you can program it yourself, or we'll do it for you. I got them on the shelf. I can configure it. Or, Mr. Customer, you can wait 12 weeks and I'll order your very custom, very special BCU from Germany. And that's usually an easy sell. People understand. Okay, I'm going to take advantage of what you have on stock or have on the shelf. Doesn't have to be that 8-digit part number. It's just going to function the exact same way of the part that I'm replacing. So that's going back to getting the market to understand what we're doing. That's been a lot of talking points. Is you may not get the 8-digit part number you're looking for, but I got the stuff on the shelf and I'm going to make it, and just taking advantage of that. So yeah, BCUs, there's so many variants. Call us up if you got questions. We've got some questions we can walk you through to make sure that we're speccing it out to the applications you're using.
Not to keep hammering you on technical components, but I want to talk about gas filters. And you can just say if you don't know, but gas filters, can you talk about the difference between a gas filter and a Y strainer in general, and then why a gas filter may be better than like a general use Y strainer that a lot of people use?
Y strainer is going to be great for catching your welding rod that's in the line, or large chunks of stuff. And it's part of NFPA code as well. But our filters, that's more for the fine particulate that's in gas or in air. Airlines are filthy dirty in these places, and gas can be pretty dirty as well. So those filters are more of a mesh material that's going to catch that fine particulate. It's going to help lengthen the life of your gas valves. It's not going to throw dirt in. It's going to corrode those seats or just make your flame, not burn great. So we've got a couple different gas filters. One sits on the side, looks like a Can-Am filter. You just unscrew a couple bolts, pop out the media, mount it sideways so that mercaptan oil can drain out if you get a lot of oil in your lines. And then we have some, back to the modularity of the gas valves, that actually bolts right next to the gas valve. Those same 2 volts goes right after the flange, and it's just a Allen screw at the bottom. Drop the media out, replace it, pop it back in.
What if somebody doesn't filter the gas or has some very dirty gas? Do you have any specific, like what can happen to the gas valves or to the components of the gas drain if they have tons of dirt?
It could just wear out those valve seats, the rubber valve seats after a while, depending on what's in it. I think that's the main reason we recommend putting filters on those, is get better life out of your components. Now, is it going to take 5 years or 10 years or 6 months off your valve? I'm not sure. I would have to do some research on that, and it again depends on your environment. But strainers or filters are cheap. It's pretty good insurance to throw on that to protect your upstream train.
As far as business operations, what do you see the future looking like as far as growth? Just keep doing what you're doing, or running some marketing? I guess everything is education and marketing these days, as far as, like the product's pretty proven. Is that just refining the playbook right now, or growing into other areas?
Yeah, we've got some new ideas that are in the works that hopefully we'll be able to get some information out on the next month or two. Some new packaged ideas we're coming up with that we're seeing that there is a demand for OEMs. But one of our initiatives is moving more into South America. So we do sell into Mexico, but Now we are authorized to sell into all of South America. So what does that look like? That is a whole market that we don't fully know yet. We have a general idea because Honeywell has reps down there, and we're working closely with those guys to identify, what are the codes? What type of products are you? 120 volt? Do you need gold contacts on your pressure switches? There's a whole realm of area that we just don't know. But we've got some really good guys on staff at Honeywell that we're utilizing. Again, I think I mentioned this earlier. We're not owned by Honeywell. We just resell the product, right? So, but we do utilize the Honeywell sales team. So moving into the South America and just starting to build out that market is a product they want, but they can't get it without the long lead time. So hey, why don't we work with you and start selling to them directly? And then KromAmericas is in a unique situation where we try not to promote or market KromAmericas as an organization. All the stuff we're putting out there is training on the Krom Schroeder component, advertising the Krom Schroeder component. Yeah, I do throw some posts out on LinkedIn every once in a while about KromAmericas and what we're doing. But at the end of the day, we want our channel partners to be successful. So if I'm promoting KromAmericas, I'm not helping them be successful. But if I'm doing brand awareness, product awareness of the Krom Schroeder portfolio and advertising our website, this is how you get this product, reach out to your local distributor. That's how we can help them grow and ultimately help us grow as well. So continuing to figure out new ways to market the Krom Schroeder portfolio this year and how to get that out there more, whether that's through trade shows, marketing campaigns, Google ads, you name it, all sorts of different areas out there that we can go after.
If a end user or somebody in your distributor network has a customer that wants education, do you travel for on-site education as far as the Krom Schroeder brand and what you're offering? And
yeah, we do. We tried to do joint visits. So we will go in as a vendor with the distributor to go visit that OEM or go visit that mom and pop shop that may be roasting coffee and has our valves on their coffee roaster. So we do try to do joint visits whenever we can. On the distributor side, on the Honeywell side, Honeywell has specific OEMs that they work with as well, larger OEMs, and we do joint calls as well. Whether that's just, hey, have you heard of Krom, or you used to use Krom and you couldn't get the parts, so you moved away. Let's reassure you that KromAmericas is bringing Krom Schroeder back. We're here. Test us out. Start using our products again. And with the building we have here, you've been here. Great facility here. We've got training areas. We've got a training center. So the idea is to start building that out as well. Start offering training on Krom Schroeder components. You could spend a week going through our flame safety line. So let's take a BCU 460. Let's hook it up to a test panel. Let's run different scenarios. Let's connect to it with our laptop and let's see the different configurations it can do. Because it's one thing to go out in the field, and we saw this early on, go out in the field, take our Pelican case of components and hold it up and be like, isn't this pretty? This is our BCU 460. But to have actually hands-on time starts to get people to think through applications and get them familiar with it. So when they walk into a customer that's down and it's an IC20 and be like, oh yeah, I've played around with this before. I know how to set the min and max. I'm comfortable with this. So it's getting distributors comfortable on it. But yeah, ideally I would love to start hosting more classes here. Whatever that looks like, whether it's flame safety or just combustion one-on-one, and we talk through the Krom Schroeder components. It just back to that brand awareness on the Krom Schroeder product line.
that's what every company's trying to figure out is training.
Yep.
And you're more training of brand awareness and getting other people. But a lot of companies are trying to figure out internally, how do we hire people and then train them up across all of our different customers' products, and which is, I think, I don't know, I got very many thoughts about it, but there's no easy way to do it. And there are some companies out there, training companies, that say, hey, you can just sign up for this online system and it's full of PowerPoint slides and then you'll be trained. And I'm like, well, that's not really how it works. And as you said, seeing a product work is entirely different than holding one up and saying, hey, look, here's our product. And that kind of access or ability to ask questions in an environment that's not a production environment and hey, it needs to work now, gives somebody the ability to think about questions they have or experiences they've had prior, and to think about the product and to learn about it in a very safe environment that is way different than an on-site training where it's can be very forced in the way of, hey, this is how everything works. Hope you learn it. Now go fix it.
People don't learn sitting in classes, and people want to do hands-on stuff for sure.
Yeah, hands-on is huge. You do have a lot, as you said, tons of parts, but you also have some demonstration units, and I believe that what is that skid? Do you guys still have that skid in your
Yep. So we've got a burner hooked up to it, a gas train, hook it up to gas and light that sucker off. Yeah. So real flame, you can go in and adjust the flow, take an anemometer, measure it, or manometer, measure it. We've got one set up right now that actually has an air gas ratio valve, a regulator, a GIK. Or we have a solenoid valve that's got a air gas ratio regulator built into it as well. And it's just a small little thing. But you can play around with the both. You can see that it's if you adjust the airflow with the butterfly valve, or adjust the gas, or make some changes, configuration changes within the flame safety, how that affects that. And everybody likes flame, right? So you pull that out and light it up, start getting an audience real fast.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's pyromaniacs.
That's right.
What do you have any common mistakes, technical questions you guys get that you could educate the audience on, as far as maybe something that they could not make a mistake on, or some lessons learned?
Man, not having combustion knowledge on that one.
I didn't know if you continually, like, over the couple years, 5 years, like, you stood this business up, you're like, yeah, we're going to distribute products. And then you are like, man, we're really getting this question a lot.
Yeah.
And
that's actually where a lot of our YouTube videos have come from, is if we're starting to hear questions a lot, or customers calling in, I think, Logan, create a video, because if that person's got that question. So one of our earlier videos is you take two valves and you bolt them together, back to that modularity, but you have to make sure you have a double O-ring in the middle. Otherwise, that thing's just going to sit there and whistle, right, and leak. So let's create a video, because we had heard of a couple customers like, hey, my gas valve leaks. Okay, well, did you put the O-ring in the middle? I don't know. Well, that's on page 5, section 4.2 of the technical literature. Didn't you read it, silly? So instead of, defaulting to that, it's like, let's create a video. Let's get that out there of, hey, you have two valves. You're going to bolt them together. So now you have a double shutoff valve. There's an O-ring in there. You need to make sure you set it properly. You're not pinching it when you bolt the valves together. So that's really where our YouTube channel came from, is, I guess, back to what you said, what types of questions. It's, look at our YouTube channel. Those are the types of questions we get. And nothing more satisfying than getting a question. 2 days later, we've already answered the question, but 2 days later, we send the customer, oh, by the way, we just created a video. Here you go. Watch it. And people love it. And that's, I think, one of the benefits of being a smaller company is we're nimble. We can do those sorts of things. We can create a video. We can put a piece of documentation together for a customer. We've got the ability to do that.
Yeah, that's documentation is one thing, but seeing it on a video is another, especially documentation and a video, because now they can read it and then they can see somebody doing it. And a lot of times, if you read documentation, not that you have a reading comprehension problem, but I've done this. I'm like, oh, what are they saying? But then you look at a video that's 2 minutes long and you're like, oh, I get it.
Right.
Okay. And then you can go on from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Our components, the factory in Germany did a great job documenting everything, but it can be overwhelming, right? So much documentation out there on a valve, 80, 100-page user manual or technical manual. So you're right. Being able to surface and pull out just little sections of it, like these are the main points. Let's throw a video together. It can make it click for sure.
Yes. The German culture and engineering is very precise and can be overwhelming to the average user.
That's right.
Especially, I've looked at a manual of another German manufacturer. I'm like, what is going on here? And it took me a while to find the answer in the manual, because I also find, I don't know, does KromAmericas publish different manuals for each language, or do they combine it all into one manual?
So there are multiple languages, but all the languages you're going to find on our website are the English versions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they do publish their manuals in multiple languages. Yeah.
Yeah. Some manufacturers put multiple languages in one manual, and it makes it very long and very confusing. And,
but you can guarantee that long German document, it's got the answer. Guarantee the answer's there. You just have to find it. And it's hard to do a control find when you're looking at a paper manual to look for a phrase. Yeah.
Absolutely. So somebody coming from the outside in, do you have any ideas, suggestions of companies out there that are like, hey, we're in combustion, we're struggling to find people to even sell? Like, we hire a salesperson, they know nothing. Like, what is the process to get somebody in, attract them, and then try to educate them on the combustion business to give them a framework in order to be able to sell and semi-support a customer?
Man, that is a big question, right? I feel like everybody's struggling with that. Just visiting different customers, everybody's like, hey, where can we find combustion people? Because we have an aging workforce that we need to bring somebody in and start dumping this knowledge onto them. I don't know, Eric, you might, I don't know. If you can figure out how to answer that, you're onto something. Because unless you're in this world, you don't know it exists. Back to, me, like 6 years ago, I had no idea. I just take for granted this Coke can, right? It's pressed, it's made. I don't know how they make it, but it's there when I need it. I don't know. I don't know how you find that talent without just driving that excitement up at trade shows. And some of these shows we go to, I think you're going out to AHR, I saw, we'll be out there in a couple of weeks too, is I like seeing the younger generation of kids. The college kids, a lot of them are there, because they have to check a box for their class that they went and talked to 2 vendors. But getting them excited about this combustion world, telling them, hey, there is a career path here for you. It is a huge field that you can get into. But it's going to take a little bit of work. You're going to have to get, I'm different because I was brought in as a business leader, but if you want to get into the service world, you're going to get dirty, right? You're going to do calls on the weekends and on holidays. You're going to be walking on top of these 1,000-degree furnaces, right? And your shoes are going to melt if you don't walk fast enough, but it's cool. It's really cool out there. But I don't know. I don't know how you get more people interested in this and start that recruiting process. It is something I hear over and over again from customers is, hey, we can't get anybody in here to do this. So I don't know. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you picking up on?
Well, like I said early on, if your kids' teammates on your sports team don't know what you do, you're not advertising enough. But so there's a lot of talk around the trades, and this is for really anybody. So you can have the combustion person with the actual tools, but then you can have the engineers, because there's mechanical engineers that go through the 4-year degree, get a bachelor's in mechanical engineering. And if you're unfamiliar with mechanical engineering, that's basically like, hey, I can cook. Oh, okay. Well, what do you want to cook out of the million types of foods?
Right.
And it's like, well,
right.
you got to find your specialty. So there are specialties out of mechanical engineering, but there's no, essentially, you just kind of fall into what you like. And if somebody doesn't know that the combustion industry is a thing, then they're not going to know to look into it. So for immediate workforce, I would say the engineering programs in colleges, and probably not your local or your state giant college, because you're probably competing against some very, very large companies. Although,
Right.
you could say, hey, if you're a partner with Honeywell, that's a pretty big name. But if you go into some smaller colleges with a little bit smaller engineering programs, I think you could find some success there, and you build a relationship with the professor, and even say, hey, do you have somebody that's looking for an internship for 3 months, and have them. Yes, you're gonna probably invest in them, and they may work out, they may not, but you can't. I think a lot of companies are just afraid to. They're so caught up in the day-to-day activities that they haven't made time to do that outreach. And being creative, and really to solve it long term, you actually really have to target middle schoolers. But what does that look like? Hey, we're going to put on a science fair for the middle schoolers at our local grade school, and we're going to take them out in the parking lot, and we're going to light a fire from a burner or something. Like, it can be something super simple like that, and kids love it. Even just putting that on a video, and hey, we can't light a fire or whatever, make a cool video and then do a presentation in a classroom because STEM is a big thing, and trying to get kids involved in the engineering and sciences and stuff. And it's going to seem pretty pointless for a couple years, but it's something that every other industry is essentially doing, and kids go into, it sounds weird, but kids go into what they know. And that's why a lot of people especially in the boiler space, this is true with anything. Hey, my family or somebody in my family did this, so that's why I got into this. It's because they have familiarity with it,
Right.
and they've grown up around it. So, what's the answer? There is no answer, but if you're looking to build skill and talent quickly, get in and develop a relationship with the engineering teachers at smaller colleges. And you can't say, hey, give us your best person, because there are 40 companies that say, hey, give us your best person. But unless you have that street cred as a company, but a lot of smaller companies are 50 less people, and they don't have this Google presence of,
Absolutely. Right.
hey,
Yep.
we don't have to recruit, people just come to us.
Yep. That's right.
And then you got to get creative with social media.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you guys are making videos and you're active on social media. And while you may not get, like, a lot of people think that, oh, because I post something, there's going to be a reaction. Well, you need to post something every single day for 5 years, and then you might start
Consistency.
being able to do something. And
Right.
I just think a lot of companies say, what's the point? Or they want to farm it out. And
Mm-hmm.
that's, you can't farm out to a media company or an advertising company. Like if you were hiring somebody, hey, make technical videos for us, they would come in and, hey, we're going to script this, teleprompters, lights,
Yep.
camera, and all this stuff.
Yep.
And all of a sudden you're like $12,000 a video, but you can set up a cell phone, have a
Yep.
wireless mic,
That's right.
maybe have
You don't even need a wireless mic, right? We didn't have wireless mics until you did a visit. You're like, come on, guys.
Yeah. So the number one thing with videos is not actually video quality, it's audio quality.
Yeah.
But
kudos to you for improving our audio quality. Thank you.
absolutely. And then like a cell phone video is good enough. And as long as the video teaches or communicates effectively to the audience, that is an effective video.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go on YouTube, and there are some videos with some very low production quality that have millions of views because they deliver actual knowledge and value versus a perfectly lit and 4K video that is edited and perfectly and all this stuff. Like unless you want to spend a ton of money and time doing all that and have the audience for that, it's not worth it.
Yep.
But
I think this industry doesn't want that either, right? They want genuine content. They want mistakes made, right? They want to see the true heart of the person or what they're trying to talk through. They don't want polished.
the mistakes made and the people that actually work in the company
That's right. Yep.
on video.
Yep.
That's also another thing I've noticed, especially on LinkedIn, for whatever reason. No profile picture, blank pictures,
Right.
blank profiles. Then you go on their website, everything's blank.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
Sterile.
I'm a firm believer from what I'm seeing is a company needs to have a hero. And if somebody were to look online, they can identify that hero.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people or a lot of employers I've heard and talked to, they're afraid that their hero will quit or leave or they'll get hired and recruited because now they're visible online.
Yep.
And
then the brand walks out the door. Right.
It's like, that is I guess, something minor that could happen, but you can put some constraints around that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, yes, that happens all the time. Like, think about professional sports teams. They advertise for their amazing pitcher, and then he walks out the door for $50 million more to another team.
Yep.
You got to go with somebody else, but you can't let the fear of losing hold you back to put yourself out there.
Yep. Yeah, I'd say this industry, and probably the same way with the boreal side, it's such a relationship-driven industry. Relationships are important. Face-to-face, people want to see who you're talking to. They want to call up and talk to Kevin that created this video because they have a question on it, and Kevin's available to talk. And with our distributors and the Honeywell guys work with and OEMs, it is just, I didn't realize how strong of a relationship everything is around here. And it's great to see, right? It's people working together. It's pretty awesome.
Well, that's something KromAmericas has done very well, is the technical support. And since you are small and nimble, having those people available, because in this AI automate and make everything bland world,
Mm-hmm.
people, when they have a question and an issue, don't want to talk to your AI assistant and your generalized email inbox that never gets answered and your forms online that they want to build a relationship and build a connection, and being able to talk to a live human being without waiting a week for a callback is huge. And I think it's only going to get worse. And it's the companies that are going to be able to provide that relationship and actually lean into the human connection are the ones that are going to thrive versus the giant corporations that want to delete humans from the business aspect kind of things. And that's fine as long as you don't need customer support. But in the combustion industry, customer support and product support is huge. So if you have those two things, you need to provide it, and having a very easy, accessible, you're not calling some engineer in Germany
Mm-hmm.
for Schroeder. It's
Yep.
right in America. They speak
That's right.
perfect English. They're not routing you
Um,
through India. And
we speak Indiana English, so I don't, I don't know if it's perfect. Uh,
you
but you're
can,
right. And so you call us and then let us deal with calling the guys over in Germany and talking with them. I mean, that is what we're for. Let's not have you call them. One thing I'm sure my team is tired of hearing me say is customer-centric. Like everything we do, the way we answer the phone, the way we respond to emails, like it is customer first. Those customers, and if we don't have customers, we don't have jobs, right? We don't have a business. So it's taking care of those customers, taking the extra time to anticipate what's their next question. Go ahead and answer it because you probably know what it's going to be. So if you call in or you email us in a question, you're probably going to get a pretty lengthy response with screenshots from our documentation highlighting this and this. It doesn't take a lot of effort, but so many customers or so many customer companies out there they don't, customers are an inconvenience for them, right? And so being customer centric, just keeping that front in mind with everything you do. And it just becomes habit after a while. But every once in a while you have to remind people of it.
yeah, you got to ingrain that and talk
Yep.
about it. That's something internally that a lot of companies struggle with, is they talk about something enough that they think that everybody knows it. So then they stop talking about it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, everybody should know that. And in order to build a culture of customer service, you have to constantly remind people the why behind what you're doing and constantly connect the team together in aspects beyond the, hey, we just show up to work every day, clock in, clock out. And if you provide a greater reason for work of, hey, like there's actually an OEM out there and they make this parts and our gas train's on it, and this customer service call helped them do this, would help them, like we are this tiny invisible like link in this giant world and supply chain, but our link matters and we need to hold our link together. And that is a lost art in the general business world today, but in the combustion boiler space, there's still a ton of companies doing it, but it is lean into that, lean into human interaction, human visibility online and in person. And that's also the great part. You can, if somebody wants to stop by, what is the process for stopping by and learning more about and just seeing the facility? And
give me a 10-minute notice. I can have a fresh pot of coffee going. I don't know how you distribute this. My contact information or my email address, cgordon@KromAmericas.com. Give me a call. Shoot me an email. We'd be glad to have you by. Love having visitors over. Love getting the opportunity to show the pressure tests bench we have in the back, right, that you saw, or the artwork that you talked about, or if you go into our training room, it looks like a random building. Well, no, that was when Ken and I were over at the factory in Germany. We took a picture of the original KromAmericas factory, and our artwork is stuff like that on poster board. Love showing this place off. And when people walk out there, it's one thing to say, I've got stuff on the shelf, but to walk out to our warehouse and say, holy cow, like this is a lot of product. Yeah, we welcome visitors anytime. Always love to talk to people.
Make sure you bring your 12-point buck pictures and compare them and
That's right.
And let them know what's up.
That's right.
How are the trees doing?
Trees. We didn't let them. So, we planted some apple trees in our building or next to our building. It's probably a couple of years now. They still look like little sticks. Rumor is we're going to let them produce fruit this spring. Early on, you always want to pick the flowers off so the energy goes into the root and strengthening the tree. But I think we may have 2 or 3 apples that all of us can share this coming fall. So yeah, I think we'll let them go.
You're the only combustion related business that I know that's going to try to grow apples.
Yeah. Best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. So, but it's better late than never. Yeah.
Hey, you got to start. And if you're listening to this, put that into online videos and product support and social media. It's better late than never.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that YouTube and all those social medias are saturated. Think about in 10 years from now, you'll be like, man, I wish I would have started in 2026.
Yep.
And in the combustion industry, I'll say this, basically nobody's even started as far as online presence and visibility. It's a wasteland as far as combustion and boilers and heavy industry. And there is a market for it. There are companies that want to, or people that want to see it. And I think that's why Mike Rowe got so famous, because he showed industries that people have never heard of on Discovery Channel in a very interesting manner. Yep. You don't have to have the same production value, but if you show what you do, people will find interest, especially if they also do the same thing. So any last words? I think we've covered it all. I appreciate you coming on the podcast and appreciate KromAmericas for letting me tour it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this has been good. It's always nerve-wracking to talk about yourself, or especially talk about combustion. When I don't know everything, right? I got a team that is able to answer a lot of those questions that I rely on. So thanks for not making it too challenging, asking me, BTUs of this or that, or some of the stuff where I need a team to help me out with.
No, that's why build a good team.
That's right. That is right.
You focus on what you're good at, and you hire out everything else, and that's part of building the business. Is one person can't do it all, and you don't have to be an expert to do everything.
Yep. But you have to be smart enough to know what you can't do.
Yeah. And
hire somebody that can do it.
And humble enough to admit what you don't know.
That's right. That is true.
Yeah, that's some wise sage advice. So you'll be at AHR?
Yeah. So we usually present every year. We get a little sub booth we tack onto the Honeywell, but we're going to go walk it this year. You've been to that show. If you're in a booth, you're not leaving that booth, right? It is nonstop from 9 to 6 or whatever the hours are. So we're actually going to fly out there and walk it, go out and visit some of our OEMs, see what's out there on the floor. So really looking forward to that. That's just been an opportunity we haven't been able to do in the past.
Will the Honeywell booth have a Crown Schroeder gas train?
I do not believe they will. No. So since we're not going to be there, I don't think they're going to have our products listed or sitting out. There will be some Honeywell Thermal Solutions guys out there, and so the regular refrigeration side. Yeah. So if you want to see a Chrome gas train, you got to go to our website or stop by Indianapolis. We're on the east side of Indianapolis. So if you're ever in the area, stop by.
Go to the website.
Plenty of T-shirts to hand out.
Yeah. KromAmericas, KROM is Krom. Does that mean anything in German, or is that just a common name from 1850?
Yeah.
Krom.
So Krom Schroeder is the family that started that business.
Is Krom Schroeder a guy? Or is that
a guy? Yeah, it was a guy.
It's not two last names.
No, it is a last name. Krom Schroeder's the whole last name.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, when we were over, so we go over to Germany every year to visit, keep that camaraderie going between the teams, talk about what's new, what are we seeing in the market. So when we were over there this past October, somebody actually had a book that had a photograph copy of like the original Krom Schroeder family. So it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah. So, that's the name. So we just took it. Okay. We want to represent the brand here, but we're in America. So let's just take Krom in America and piece it together. And the domain was available and we made it work.
Hey, it works for me. I appreciate having you on, and anybody listening, check out KromAmericas.com and also search for KromAmericas on YouTube.